Can you believe it?
I can't believe you've done this.
That right beneath your feet exists a parallel world, where thousands of people live in darkness and despair, as if trapped in a never-ending nightmare. This is not a story from a dystopian movie. This is the reality of Las Vegas, the city of dreams, paid for, with the entire lives of those who live quietly underground, right beneath the most dazzling skyscrapers in America.
It's the worst thing in the world is being homeless.
A lot of people move here thinking they're going to become rich, and they end up losing it all and stuck on the streets.
You're in Las Vegas. We have all the vices. You make bad choices and you can end up on the streets.
Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of America, where over 30 million visitors come each year to enjoy the lights, chase luck, and nurture the belief that anything is possible. In a place where one can bet their entire fortune with a single roll of the dice, perhaps the fiercest gamble doesn't take place in the casino, but on the very sidewalks, among the tattered tents, where those who once believed in the American dream are now wagering their entire lives just to survive another night. In today's video, let's unveil a reality that no travel postcard ever mentions. Another Las Vegas, buried beneath the dazzling glamour, where there are forgotten people right in the very city where they once placed all their dreams and hopes. This video aims to share a neutral social perspective without attacking any individual or organization. All data and stories are selected from reliable public sources with the aim of evoking empathy and reflection. Are you ready to uncover the hidden truths right in Las Vegas? Let's get started right now. Las Vegas was once a symbol of vibrancy and extravagance, where neon lights illuminated the entire Nevada night sky. People used to call this place the paradise of America, not just because of the dazzling casinos, but because it once promised a fulfilling life for anyone daring to dream and dare to try. But now, behind that layer of light, Las Vegas is falling into a darkness that no spotlight can illuminate. Thousands of people are living without homes, without futures, without opportunities. Pushed to the margins of a city they once believed was a new beginning. According to the latest statistics, this city currently has more than 7,906 homeless people. This number marks the highest level in over a decade. Among them, more than 60% live entirely outdoors, without any official shelter. They set up tents in parks, sleep in cars in parking lots, or wander through neighborhoods each night because they can't find anywhere to lay down. The scary thing is, those people are not strangers. They used to be neighbors, Uber drivers, retired teachers, veterans who spent their youth protecting the flag of America. They once had a normal life. Enough to eat, enough to live, enough hope. But just a few unexpected events hit them, and everything fell apart. Not only did they lose their home, but they also lost their identity, value, and place in the increasingly shrinking growth picture of this society. The cause does not stem from a major collapse. It's not because they are lazy, nor because they have fallen into depravity, as societal prejudices often label them. Everything starts with seemingly familiar things: skyrocketing housing prices, stagnant wages, health insurance that doesn't cover enough, job insecurity after turning 50, and even not having $400 to manage in an emergency situation. Each of those small things accumulated over time, like drops of water quietly overflowing a cup, until they became a free fall, pushing them out of their own home, and fall straight to the bottom of a reality that no one thought they would face. And once you've fallen, getting back up is not at all simple. Without an address, you can't get a job. Without a job, you can't even rent a roof over your head. Without a safe place to shelter overnight, everything starts to fall apart. From material possessions, identity, to the last remaining shred of faith. It's not just poverty, it's a no-exit loop, where the starting point is not weakness, but a single slip. On a ground whose plane increasingly tilts the disadvantage towards the vulnerable. We once looked at Las Vegas with so much hope. A promised land where every dream has a chance to begin. But now, looking back, what do you see? A city dazzling at night, but beneath that light a lives sinking into darkness, slowly fading away. The magnificent skyscrapers next to rows of makeshift nylon tents. An economy that brings in billions of dollars each year from tourism and entertainment, yet cannot provide its own citizens with a place to sleep overnight. This is no longer an isolated story. This is a social crisis, quietly yet profoundly, clearly reflecting the cracks in how we measure success, build communities, and care for the vulnerable. So if a city like Las Vegas, once a promise of new beginnings, can no longer hold the hopes of those who once believed in it, what awaits the other cities across America? But now, behind that layer of light, Las Vegas is falling into a darkness that no spotlight can illuminate. Thousands of people are living without homes, without futures, without opportunities, pushed to the margins of a city they once believed was a new beginning. Beneath Las Vegas lies a second world. No neon lights, no stages, no thumping music. Only darkness, dampness, and people with nowhere else to go. They lean on each other, clinging to the fragile rays of hope that remain to survive each day.
Aaron, can you turn off that light so people can really feel just how dark and still it is down here?
What do you see when the lights go out? A thick night swallows everything, right? For the people living in the tunnels, it's not a fleeting moment. It's the harsh reality they face every day. According to statistics from the Shine a Light Foundation, there are about 1,500 people living in the underground sewer system of Las Vegas, a network over 600 kilometers long, stretching beneath the luxurious tourist roads. Many people call them mole people because they are forced to dig deep into the earth to escape the burden of the world above. They still live in the same world as us, but no longer belong to any society. Life in the underground is a series of harsh survival days. The mole people here have to live with rats, garbage, stagnant rainwater, and the pervasive smell of mold year-round. Many people suffer from various illnesses due to the unsanitary living conditions, but buying medicine is a luxury when even a meal or a makeshift roof is beyond reach.
The randomness, right? And there was a lot of chaos in my tunnel too, but it was like the devil I knew.
Not only diseases, but this place is always full of potential dangers, from disputes, thefts, to sudden floods that can sweep everything away in just a few minutes. Those tunnels were not originally designed for habitation. They are storm drains, rare but devastatingly powerful rainstorms in Nevada.
I lost everything in the wash in a flood, like 40 miles an hour.
Beneath the ground of Las Vegas, each rainstorm is a death sentence. Just a few minutes of heavy rain in the suburbs, and water rushes down to the underground city like a tsunami in the dark, sweeping away both people and the American dream, right in their final home. They knew the danger well, but still returned. Because on the surface, in the glamorous picture of modern Las Vegas, there is no longer a place for them to exist. Housing prices have skyrocketed, social housing requires a year-long wait, and the welfare system is overwhelmed. They don't dream of wealth, just hope for a place to live and not to bother anyone. But even that simple thing has now become a luxury. So, can we still dare to call this the Promised Land? If a city can let its people live in sewage drains, then what is the rest of America being built on? There is one thing that no travel brochure will tell you about Las Vegas. Here, having a roof over your head is no longer a given. It's a gamble, no less than a roulette table in a casino. The only difference is that those who lose in this game don't lose money. They lose their lives. Las Vegas used to be the dream retirement destination for Americans, a region with a pleasant climate, a cost of living that was once easier to breathe than California, and a vibrant, colourful atmosphere. But now, everything has changed in a way that no one could have anticipated. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas has exceeded $1,700 per month. Meanwhile, the average Social Security benefit for retirees is only around $1,450. That means, even without eating, without using electricity and water, without buying medicine, the elderly still lack money to rent a roof over their heads in the city they once dreamed of being attached to. The cost of living is skyrocketing. A bottle of milk that used to cost $2.29 is now nearly $4. Electricity, gas, internet, everything is rising. But pensions remain stagnant. Those entering their twilight years no longer think about relaxation, but rather about straining to hold on, calculating every penny just enough to cover rent, enough for medicine, enough to buy a portion of wilted vegetables discounted at Walmart at the end of the day. The price to survive in Las Vegas today is not just material. It is the sacrifice of an entire life. When the elderly have to choose between having a place to stay and having medication, between a full meal and paying utility bills, the question is no longer how to live well, but how to survive another day. Of course, there are still organizations like Catholic Charities of Southern Nevada and Nevada hand-making efforts. They build affordable housing, provide meals, assist with rental paperwork, and connect communities. But those efforts are like small buckets trying to bail water out of a sinking ship. Because every day, dozens more fall through the safety net, while the support resources are dwindling. How can a city welcome tens of millions of tourists each year, yet fail to help those who have lived there their entire lives? And what if we ourselves are slowly standing on that very edge, as thin as an unpaid rent notice? There is a haunting silence spreading across the neighborhoods outside the Strip. Empty storefronts, old shops taped up with X's, for lease signs hanging indefinitely. The once vibrant places, family restaurants, barbershops, local pharmacies, are now just memories. And those who once lived around there, have all simultaneously fled from this city. What has happened? Las Vegas is witnessing a wave of reverse migration, where the very residents and local businesses who have been tied to this city for a lifetime are gradually leaving it. They are not fleeing from war, nor escaping a major storm, but running away from a city that can no longer keep its promises, the promise of stability, of opportunity, of a decent life. Thousands of local small businesses have permanently closed in a short period of time. The industries most heavily impacted are not the casinos, but the restaurants, services, healthcare, bookstores, and small shops, which were once the heartbeat of the community. A 66-year-old restaurant owner who had run his family's sandwich shop for nearly 3 decades said he was forced to close after the number of customers halved and operating costs increased by more than 40%. He shared, "Tourists still come, but they only stay in the downtown area. The locals are leaving, or they are too poor to eat out. Every day I open the door, I'm losing money on gas, electricity, and food." Young families are choosing to move to places like Utah, Arizona, Idaho, places with a more affordable cost of living and a sense of community that still exists. And what is the consequence? When small businesses disappear and residents withdraw, the city is no longer a city. The neighborhoods lose their essence. The shops that used to be gathering places have become abandoned spaces. And what about those who still hold on, including the homeless? But what about those who still hold on, including the homeless? They stay because they have no way out. They stayed because there was no way back. Because even living one more day is an unsolvable problem. How could they think about leaving? A few large corporations still exist in Vegas, still building more hotels and golf courses. But at a sufficient distance, they no longer touch the real lives of the people. The shiny mega projects cannot replace the homes that have been foreclosed, nor can they buy back the familiar feeling of a local store that has closed forever. Do you think the place you live, with all its amenities and stable appearance, is truly immune to this silent wave of retreat? Or is it also starting to crack from the inside, a fissure that we only truly see when the consequences are irreparable? People have always believed that as long as you work hard, you can overcome any difficulty. But if you've ever witnessed someone trying to rise from the depths of life, you'll understand. There are circumstances where hard work alone is not enough. Especially in Las Vegas, where the cycle of poverty tightens like an invisible shackle, silently locking every exit. When a person loses their home, they don't just lose their place to live. They also lose the address to put on their job application. Without an address, you won't get called for an interview. Without a stable phone, you can't stay in touch. Without a credit history, you can't rent a house. And if they don't have a place to stay, they continue living on the streets where waking up each morning is already a battle. According to statistics, only about 40% of the homeless in Las Vegas receive adequate support for social reintegration. The majority fall into the grey area. Not bad enough to receive emergency assistance, but also not stable enough to take care of themselves. They wait, hope, and gradually wear away in the whirlpool of stagnation and indifference. The city has programs, but they're overloaded, understaffed, or simply too slow. A social housing application can take 12 to 18 months to receive a response. The waiting list is so long that people joke, "You need to apply for housing before you lose your home, then you'll have a chance." But who can think of that when life is sweeping them away so quickly? In the meantime, the days keep passing by, and poverty becomes a kind of normal. People learn to eat less, learn how to sleep on the street, learn to be silent when chased away from shelter. They begin to believe that they deserve this. And that's when poverty is no longer just a lack of material things, but a mental state eroded to the core. Are we building a society that helps people who stumble get back up? Or are we just a machine too busy to notice that they fell a long time ago? In a city renowned for its ability to manage a chain of 5-star hotels, host world-class events, and monitor every step in the casinos with sophisticated surveillance systems, it is truly ironic that the Las Vegas authorities cannot even provide the residents with a decent roof over their heads. It's not for lack of effort. Campaigns have been launched, budgets have been proposed, and the city council has held hours-long meetings. But while the plans continue to be written, out there, real people are still huddled under bridges, next to the walls of hotels with room rates over $1,000 a night. Instead of building more safe shelters, many policies focus on cleaning up. The camps are cleared overnight, personal belongings, from blankets, old photos, to worn-out shoes, are collected into garbage trucks like real trash. The homeless were not notified, nor were they offered relocation assistance. They were simply pushed elsewhere, as if their presence were a technical error in the glossy travel brochure. The authorities are not outside the issue, but they are also not deep enough within it to grasp the reality. The meetings are filled with bureaucratic language, resource allocation, budget efficiency, improving urban experience. But no one talks about the 70-year-old who lost everything when their tent was swept away during a routine cleanup, or the 6-month pregnant woman who was turned away because the shelter didn't accept more people on Friday night. And so, those who need support the most become shadows in the very place where they once paid taxes, worked, and placed their trust. They are not weak enough to be classified as emergency, but not strong enough to climb out of the deep pit on their own. They exist in a grey area where all policies overlook them and all promises slip away from reality. Independent, non-profit organizations are still fighting, like the Nevada Homeless Alliance, Catholic Charities, or Help Hope Home. But they cannot replace a system. They can only do good within a limited scope, while the root of the problem requires a more extensive change from urban operators. So what truly defines a modern city? Is it the bright lights on the boulevard? Or the ability to ensure that no one has to sleep on the streets in that very city? People used to think Las Vegas was an exception, a separate world born to serve entertainment, unrealistic, so what happens there would only stay there. But if you look closer, at the encampments spreading beyond the Strip, the elderly sleeping in trucks in the Costco parking lot, the homeless families seeking food assistance, you will realize Las Vegas is no longer an exception, it is a harbinger. And what is happening here is quietly happening all over America. The numbers don't lie. Reports show that the number of homeless people in major cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Phoenix, and Chicago are all reaching record levels. This crisis is no longer an issue confined to a few neighborhoods or a specific state. It has become a part of the modern American landscape. People lose their jobs, then lose their homes. Losing their home, then unable to rent another. Losing trust, then gradually losing social status. Not just one individual, but millions of Americans, especially the elderly, veterans, and those living on fixed incomes, are being pushed to the margins. We once believed that America, with the largest economy in the world, with a strong democratic system, would have the ability to adjust to instabilities. But when even basic needs like housing, food, and healthcare become a covert struggle, then the issue is no longer just about policy. That is a question of values, about how a nation treats those who have worked their entire lives, contributed, and now only need a small roof over their heads to live the rest of their lives in peace. When a city no longer has a community, no longer has the ability to protect the vulnerable, no longer retains the trust of its own people, then it is not just a problem for Las Vegas. That is a test for all of America. If even Las Vegas, the premier entertainment hub with enough money to throw grand parties and enough technology to monitor every betting table, cannot keep a roof over its own residents, then what is protecting the other cities? We don't need to wait for a major collapse to realize that America is changing. We just need enough courage to look straight into the dark corners where the people who once built this country are gradually disappearing from society's sight. So what truly keeps America standing strong, if the very people who built it no longer have a place to exist? Las Vegas is not just a city, it is a mirror reflecting an America swaying between glory and darkness, where dreams can be built in a night and can also crumble after just one rain. For many people today, life is no longer a journey to find happiness, but a desperate effort not to be left behind. Look back at what is happening in Las Vegas, not to pity, but to awaken. Because if we don't change, then the underground tunnels today might become the place where the values we once took pride in will be buried forever. What do you think about the surge of homelessness in Las Vegas? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. This video is not intended to blame any organization, individual, government, or business. The content presented is based on publicly available data, reports, and real stories at the time of execution. Every perspective is analytical, exploratory, and reflective, with the aim of raising community awareness, encouraging dialogue, and promoting humanitarian actions.